When you're ready, hold on.
3.
And good afternoon, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Board meeting for Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. I'm Commissioner John Hutchings, the chair of the board, also present as vice chair, Commissioner Ty Menser, and we have Commissioner Gary Edwards in the house. Also is our county manager, Ramiro Chavez, and assistant county manager, Robin Campbell. And I don't see anybody else on my screen. Ramiro, am I missing someone? Oh, the clerk of the board, is the clerk of the board in?
Yes, she is.
Is it Katie or Amy?
Amy.
Okay, welcome Amy Davis. And, oh, there you are. Thank you. That's why I didn't see her. So, is there anybody else I missed besides Amy?
I think they're joining us, Public Works staff. They will be presenting some items this afternoon.
Okay. So with that, I'm calling the meeting to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Gary Edwards.
And should you lose your place, you can look over at the wall, but most of you can't see it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There, thank you. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Move to approve agenda for Tuesday, August 18th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve today's August 18, 2020 agenda. Any changes or amendments? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. And is there a motion to approve the August 11th board meeting minutes?
I move to approve board meeting minutes from August 11th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on those or changes, corrections? Nope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I abstain. I wasn't here last week to approve them. So thank you. Now we're moving to agenda item number 1, which is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And some general speaking guidelines. Please introduce yourself and indicate where you're at, where you reside in the county. Address the board, not staff or the audience. Please silence your cell phones. The board typically, we do not respond to comments, but on a needed basis, the county manager may follow up with specific items. You are limited to 3 minutes to address the board, and your time cannot be donated to another speaker. Board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the board for a good cause. No comments that are lewd, offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please, we ask you be respectful. No outbursts of any kind, and no comments that are commercial in nature, such as a promotion for a for-profit business. All material provided to the county may be considered public record, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 42.56 of the RCW, and remarks about any pending land use permits or similar matters that could come before this board on appeal would not be appreciated or appropriate either. And regarding electioneering, I turn to County Manager Ramiro Chavez.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I will ask the members of the public who are planning to testify today to refrain from making any comments can be construed as electioneering. Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you that want to join in, you will have time. You can call in the conference call, which is 360-252-9020, and the PIN number is 1234. And you'll have time to join in if you wish, and give. You'll be given the opportunity to speak to the board as well. I will call the names of the 2 folks that I have in order, and then we will go to the phones and see if there's anybody else on the Zoom as well. First is Jerry Durker, followed by John Peckett. Jerry? And before you begin, Jerry, Ramiro, I can't see the clock, so will somebody in there let me know when?
Yeah, we're managing the clock here, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Jerry.
All right. My name's Jerry Durker. I live at 2826 Cooper Point Road, Northwest, Olympia, Washington, 98502, as I signed up back there. I'm here on a couple of things. One, there's a project that apparently is coming before the county that is asking for the county to lend the county's credit on the lakes, on a Lakes Association. Actually, it's not a Lakes Association, it's a special use district for flood control at Black Lake. The problem with it is that this project is for recreational purposes, not for flood control, and the whole district is for flood control. So this can't be done for recreational purposes, and it's an unlawful use of public funds for that purpose, since they can't be doing that. Further, the DNR owns that lake, not the Lakes Management Association, and they can't have that special use permit, which is as I said, is a flood control special use district. That's all they can use it for. So recreational purposes is not something that they can do. And so that's improper. Two, there's a problem here in the county that we've had for a while, and I've talked about it to the commissioners before, about the appearance of fairness doctrine, and the bit with the county being part of a shared legislative agenda partnership, the county prosecuting attorney's office having organizational membership in the Chamber of Commerce and others. That violates the appearance of fairness doctrine and violates our Section 30 of Article 2 of the state constitution. Pardon me, I have to breathe a little. And you should look under the case law is State versus Bothell, 89 Washington 2nd, 862. And it's on appearance of fairness doctrine, and it talks very specifically about how just even having one member of the Planning Commission as a member of the Chamber of Commerce is enough to vitiate the ordinances and stuff. So as I mentioned before, I would hate to see a lot of your comprehensive plans, ordinances, and other things. And apparently that's a problem with the new one going to be done tomorrow, and especially since at least one of those Planning Commission members has a conflict of interest, the chairman, because he has a piece of property that is being changed here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Next is Pettit.
I don't even know if I can talk with this. My name's John Pettit, and I am located out off of Rich Road. Today, I'm actually coming just to talk mostly about a budget issue. The budget has been basically hidden away from the commissioners for the commissioners to approve whatever county manager or county budget and finance manager want to present to them. This compromises commissioners when they don't have proper information. And as such, one of the commissioners may be dealing with an issue directly related to actions that have been taken because of budget issues. I had requested that a form that was done back in May 11 called a 2020 General Fund Financial Status Report, and I was told it'd be available early in August, but not before the Amendment 4. And that budget and finance report obviously is a very important element because you can't make decisions unless you know the numbers. Unfortunately, the case is you did make decisions without knowing numbers. And as a follow-up on that, you're going to also be getting some more numbers. The reason why I'm bringing this up is it's been over 3 months since you've had this report. This report's very specific for letting you understand how much money is going to roll back into the general fund at the end of the cycle. You made adjustments to the budget, including a defunding of the police department, the sheriff's department, based upon information you were given or directed by county management. I'm going to suggest that you as commissioners demand that this report a reviewed, fresh, up-to-date one, be created and available to you before your meeting coming up on the budget this next Thursday. It seems impossible you can function. I'm also going to suggest to you that in a period of about 10 days, probably at most, you're going to have a new figure for sales tax. It'll be interesting if that figure ends up being more than estimated and actually puts us above the forecasted amount for the year. Maybe you need to start considering new managers, because you're taking actions based upon them feeding you and telling you we need these decisions, when in fact, it didn't have to happen at all. I would encourage Commissioner Menzer to reach out to me. I have some thoughts about a way to maybe resolve some issues. And if we can resolve things, maybe we can clear up some other things that might stop a process that's already started. Thank you.
All right. Now, is there anybody else on the Zoom call, Ramiro, that?
Let me check on the conference call. We don't have anybody joining on the Zoom call, and I don't
Good.
believe anybody else is present here.
Good,
We're
thank you.
waiting for it. For those who have joined us via conference call, if you would like to testify in front of the commissioners, please unmute yourselves. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and the address in which you reside here in Thurston County. No, sir.
All right, thank you. So no more public comment. That takes us to agenda item number 2, the county manager's update.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I'd just like to highlight a couple of letters that you received, and this is related to an outstanding performance award. The Department of Ecology has issued 2 wastewater treatment plant outstanding awards. One is for the Boston Harbor Wastewater Treatment Plant, and the other one is for Thomaston Wastewater Treatment Plant. This is given on a yearly basis, and this is associated with the NPDES permit, which is the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. And this permit is so essential for us to conduct business and provide services to our citizens. So I'd just like to extend my appreciation and kudos to Public Works staff to continue to rise above the expectations and continuing to have this outstanding performance award on a yearly basis. Thank you, Public Works staff.
Absolutely. They are, as I said this morning, they're stellar. So thank you, Public Works, Jennifer Walker, and all the rest. Agenda item number 3 is the consent item, which it stands alone as the auditor's financial services report. Is there a motion?
Move to approve consent item 3. It's listed as 3C.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Approval of the voucher list, which
Sorry.
for the week of August 3rd, 2020, a combined amount of $3,615,261.19.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the voucher list for the last week. Is there any questions that the board has or comments about it?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. That takes us to department items now. Public Works 4A is contract award for existing service cabinet alteration project.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Matt Unsman, Thurston County Public Works, DECICOM, Thurston County Public Works. So we got kind of a unique project that we're here to talk to you about today. This project actually involves separating public and private electrical lighting services. So typically when a development goes in Thurston County, the interior lighting is the responsibility of the neighborhood to pay for and operate. And then the frontage on the more arterials or collector roadways will actually be the responsibility of Thurston County, in this case, Thurston County Public Works. So this project includes 12 locations where those services are combined. And what this project will do is we'll install a service cabinet in the public right of way along the frontage of these developments to separate those lights that are along the frontage from the rest of the lights that are within the neighborhood. So not only is it a liability to mix public and private lighting services, but it's also creates a problem when we go out to try to repair a light that's out and we can't get into the service cabinet. So this project was bid using the small works roster process. We actually sent a scope of work and specifications to more than 100 qualified contractors. The lowest responsive quote was received back from Northeast Electric from Vancouver, Washington, with a bid amount of $167,000. This was within the limits of the engineer's estimate, which was estimated at $157,000. So at this point, we're requesting permission from the Board of County Commissioners to award this project to Northeast Electric with an anticipated start date in early September, and hopefully the work will be completed by early November. So at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions on that or comments?
I guess I would have a comment because we're going to move forward on this before long. And for the public, I'd just let them know this is kind of a complicated topic, but Matt has done an excellent job over the last several weeks briefing the board in agenda setting topics. And so it's pretty well explained. And if you have any interest, you can go to YouTube and take a look at the last couple of agenda settings in which this has been pretty laid out to the commissioners.
All right. So with that, is there a motion?
Yes, sir. I move to award the contract for the existing service cabinet alteration project, CRP number 48328, to Northeast Electric LLC for a total amount of $167,321, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, up to 10% of the contract, which would be $16,732, or an aggregate of $184,053.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve this contract. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Well, we didn't do anything yet. And I'm going to congratulate you, Matt. Thank you, and Becky, the entire team for what you've done and what you're doing. So with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. You're welcome, Matt.
See you later.
All right, bye-bye. Item number 5A on the agenda is Public Health and Social Services, and this one is an interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia. And Tom.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster, the manager for the Office of Housing and Homeless Prevention and Public Health and Social Services. We're asking you to approve an interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia to provide funding for hygiene-related services in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. As I believe you're aware, the county has lost access to hygiene services that are available to use for people experiencing homelessness. Access to hygiene, including hand washing stations and portable toilets, is an important public health recommendation to prevent the spread of the disease. So we're partnering with the City of Olympia to provide hand washing stations, portable toilets, and other hygiene related services in Olympia, but also throughout the county. And so this interlocal agreement recognizes that partnership, and the county has received funding from the Washington State Department of Commerce Emergency Housing Grant, as well as from the Federal CARES Act money to provide funding for these services. And I'm happy to answer any additional questions you have.
Commissioners, any questions for Tom?
No questions. I guess I'd just comment, same thing, YouTube. Tom covered it really well for a couple of weeks. So if anybody's interested, they could go to the YouTube channel and take a look at it.
And I would add, Tom, you brought up as a public health issue that's important, and I might change that to it's vital from a public health perspective to have proper hygiene. for folks. So with that, is there a motion?
Move to approve the interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia to provide funding for hygiene-related services in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Next is 5B, and that is a youth marijuana prevention education contract with Choice Regional Health Network. Chris.
Commissioners, Chris Hawkins here, Thurston County Public Health and Social Services Education and Prevention Program Manager. And I'm here to talk with you today about a request we have that you approve a contract amendment for our youth marijuana prevention education work here in Thurston County. This is part of a regional effort that is funded by the state's dedicated marijuana account funds, that part of which go to education to prevent youth from starting to use marijuana. And we play a role in that here in Thurston County to present to community organizations and key leaders to help them understand what the impacts are of marijuana on developing minds and young people's health in our community. And we've been doing that the last several years. This is funding that comes to the Public Health and Social Services Department through a contract with Choice Regional Health Network. So this agency serves a multi-county area, but in this case, the contract is for services within Thurston County. And we partner with local schools on this effort. We also try to identify ways to improve the community environment that make healthy choices easier for young people. This aligns well with Thurston County's 2019-2020 strategic plan goal around improved health outcomes for all. And within that strategy, particularly focusing on programs for school-age youth in our community. And obviously, addressing substance use is a pretty important, big issue regarding our young people. And we're happy to have this resource available to our county. It would be $25,000 for the current program year. And we look forward to being able to continue that work as we have in the past couple of years. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to address those.
Any questions or comments for Chris?
No,
Nope.
he's explained it to us before.
Chris, I just might add that I'm glad you said we've been doing this for years. And it seems to me that 25,000 is spitting in the ocean. It's not near enough. There's been so much research done on the harmful effects on brain development with youth and involving marijuana. And that message doesn't get out as much as the message does that it's okay, it's medicinal, and it's good for everybody. It's natural. And I don't discount the benefits of marijuana for specific purposes with specific population. However, when it comes to raising our children, we only get one shot at it. We can't put it on pause. We can't rewind, redo it, no retakes. We get one shot at raising our kids, and we need to give the best of our decision making and the best chance to make it through proper brain development. So thank you for what you do as well.
Absolutely right in those comments. Thank you, Commissioner. And I just wanted to add that this is funding that we use in conjunction with some other funds. So it's not the only funding that we have to address substance use and prevention of that in our community. So we do have tobacco and vaping prevention, which does have a youth element, strong youth element to it. And of course, we try to promote that new law in Washington State, the Tobacco Vaping 21 law, which raised the legal age for use of tobacco and vaping products. And then we also have the coalitions, Bucota Tenino, Healthy Action Team, and Tumwater Hopes that are very focused on youth substance use prevention. And we try to put these resources to work in a variety of ways, including not just that coalition work, but some public awareness campaigns and some other programs that contribute to healthy youth development and help prevent substance use. So thank you for your support of all that.
Well, thank you, and you're welcome. But you said it's in conjunction with other combined monies that come in, and that's good for the public to know. And I realize that. But what tell the public about what is that amount with all of them combined? The amount of money that we're putting into prevention. Just really rough.
Really roughly, so
Like a couple 100,000.
That's about right. We do receive about $100,000, a little over $100,000 per year for each of those coalition sites, and then we receive another 100,000 plus on tobacco and vaping prevention, albeit that is a multi-county funding that comes to us that we then help to distribute around the Cascade Pacific Action Alliance 7-county region. So it's a little hard to pin it down to exactly what's for Thurston, but you're right, it is a couple $100,000 when it's all put together for our county each year.
Again, for our county. And the only reason I bring that up is by comparison, so the public knows we're fighting a monster in America here, and that is a company and organizations, whether it be tobacco, vaping, whatever the organization is, they're pumping millions a day into advertising, and we're putting in a couple 100,000. Okay, so again, it's still spinning in the ocean, but it's worth the effort. If we save one or save 100 kids, it's worth it. So thank you for your tireless effort in that regard. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did we move and second? Did you make
I
a
don't
motion?
think I made that motion yet.
No,
was just
the
wondering
motion
if
has
you
not been
recall.
made yet.
I'm looking
Go
at
ahead,
it and I
please.
don't remember reading it. Okay, let me make the motion. I move to approve the Choice Regional Health Network Amendment number 5 to contract number N21896-19, effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, for the Youth Marijuana Prevention Education Program to deliver services that prevent use of marijuana by young underage residents countywide. And authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contract as well as future amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount by more than 10%.
I'm going to second that, but Commissioner Hutchings, could I make a comment before we vote?
Well, of course, yeah. It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
Yes, sir. I would just like to point out, being we're talking about kids and the importance and whatnot. Well, just so the public knows out there, I don't know the dollar amount right here in front of me. I didn't plan on bringing this up, but I believe the state in Thurston County alone, just Thurston County, collects over $15 million in tax here locally on marijuana. They reimburse the county, I don't know, it's around $300,000 or something by the time it comes back, around 2% of what's collected in Thurston County. And we're expected to do all the zoning and the planning and the criminal justice and the inspections and everything else that goes with that. And I think it's really just a drop in the bucket for the need. And I like to have citizens know that the state doesn't give us much back in reference to what they, in comparison to what they collect. So I just like to point that out.
So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
5C is setting a public hearing for the 2019 HUD Annual Action Plan. Go ahead, Tom.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. I'm still Tom Webster with Public Health and Social Services. So with this, we're asking you to approve a motion to set a public hearing on September 1st of 2020. The county received, under the CARES Act, Community Development Block Grant COVID funding. So the county's received $717,852 in funding to be used to address COVID-related activities. As part of a regional process we've gone through to decide how to utilize these funds, we've identified 3 primary uses for these funds, including up to $174,282 for food assistance activities, up to $300,000 for COVID testing related activities, and up to $100,000 for acquisition or lease of quarantine and isolation facilities to respond to COVID. And the remainder balance is to be used for the administration of the grant. HUD requires a 5-day public comment period. And so we're requesting to set this public hearing, at which time we'll take public comment and then ask for your approval of the amendments to our 2019 action plan, which we will submit to HUD in order to expend these funds. Any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead, Commissioner Spencer.
Just to clarify, Tom, this morning you said that the COVID testing was specifically focused on access for South County communities. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is true. CDBG funds are intended to be used for low and moderate income populations, and we have some South County cities that qualify as low and moderate income communities. And so these funds will be targeted towards those communities.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, September 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard to receive public comments, review amendments to the approved fiscal year 2019 annual action plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for September 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. for the fiscal year 2019 HUD annual action plan. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Again, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item number 6, where the commissioners report back on their work sessions and assigned committees. And I'll start with Commissioner Edwards.
Well, I think the one thing that I'm going to report on here, because it's above the fold in the Nisqually Valley News, so anybody that wants to read about this particular issue, rather than me drone on about it, this is about the proposed McKenna Rehabilitation Project, in which they're proposing to have about 140 customers in the old folks home out at McKenna. And that's about 100 feet from the Thurston County line. And I like to point out that it's the least policed from both Pierce County and Thurston County, and it has no services to provide anything to these folks that are out there. So there are no supportive services whatsoever, no transit program. The biggest thing they could say is about 100 feet across the street is the McKenna Waltz Tavern. So if they're there on addiction issues, which a lot of them are going to be, that sounds like a pretty poor place for it. And a school right down the road about 1,000 feet. All the kids that catch the school bus right there in front of that area. So very poorly thought out by the state, apparently, and more to come. So I'm just passing that on to the citizenry. Now, I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Messer.
I spent a significant amount of time working on the resource center project that we have. It's kind of a visioning group ongoing. On Friday, we had a Zoom meeting with King County's version called CCAP, which is essentially a pretrial services program, but it's a very well integrated services hub that includes substance abuse treatment, all kinds of classes and service providers, all within one facility. Then on Monday, I organized a tour of Pierce County's Court Resource Center, or CRC, and we actually got to walk through that in groups and see they had just moved from one location to another location, so they remodeled a county building in order to meet the needs of this services hub. It's more of a drop-in place where the service providers aren't located there, but there's all sorts of classrooms and meeting spaces, and then they schedule hours so that folks involved with criminal cases can just, there's a clothing bank there and all 15 different classes that are provided. Very interesting model, and it is open to the public, so it's not just limited to justice individuals, but that seems to be the primary focus. And we had a couple members of the public defense office. We had county manager. We had a group of 9 groups from the community. Ann Larson from the Olympia Police Department. Anyway, we had a really good meeting with the directors there, and actually the presiding judge of the Pierce County District Court came and gave us an intro. So that was really useful, and hopefully will be useful to our group as we continue to try to think of how to put something like this together for Thurston County.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty easy, because for the first time in years, and I don't mean just the last 3.5 years, but probably closer to 8 years, I took 11 days vacation. And it's been planned for about 6 to 8 months. I had family come in, 3 sisters and spouses from out of state. And son and daughter and their family came in, and we just had barbecue and games, and it was kind of a celebration of lives that we lost this last year. It was a great time to just let your hair down, relax, not shave, and not do anything. However, I did on my vacation attend a real quick board meeting, and then I currently sit on the governor's task force or advisory work group for independent investigation of police use of force. And I attended that 2 or 3 hour meeting. But other than that, it was nice. So I have nothing else to report from the last week except great memories, very good memories. So with that, I turn to the county manager.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for this upcoming week. The appointments that are going to be mentioned in my report is where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Nothing for the rest of the day today. The Transportation Benefit District meeting was canceled. Wednesday, August 19th, at 10 a.m., you have a briefing related to the Water Resources Inventory Areas, also known as WIRAS. At 11, you have a follow-up to the Black Lake Special Use District, a public hearing that you held a couple of weeks ago. At noon, you have a meeting with your fellow elected officials here in the county. 1:30 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the 2020-2021 general liability and property insurance policy renewal. At 2 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to a project related to the county-wide security. 2:30 in the afternoon, tomorrow, August 19th, you have a follow-up to the public hearing related to the Rochester sub-area plan. Moving on to Thursday, August 20th, 9 in the morning, you have a budget work session. At 10:30 in the morning on August 20th, you have a follow-up to the hearing examiner's decisions that you made related to an appeal. That is related to the Mankey appeal. There's a couple technical fixes that need to occur, so that matter will be brought to your attention this coming Thursday. At 11, you have a proposal to amend Thurston County Code, Chapter 2.20.54. At 11:30, you have a follow-up to the Lone Lake Management District public hearing. 1 in the afternoon, Thursday, August 20th, Commissioner Menser and Commissioner Hutchins, but they have the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization Board meeting. 5 in the afternoon, Commissioner Hutchins and I will be attending the Regional Housing Council. And that will be a Zoom meeting, by the way. Friday, August 21st, the board has been invited to attend the study meeting at 8 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon. Friday, August 21st, you have your Washington State Association of Counties COVID-19 update. Moving on to Monday, August 24th, at noon, you have the Washington State Association of Counties Coronavirus Relief Funding. And this is one of the standing meetings the WASAC has. And then on Tuesday, August 25th, you will come back here at 9 in the morning. You will have your regular agenda setting for that day. That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Romero. Do the commissioners have anything for the good of the order?
Not
No?
at this time.
Okay. Then this meeting of August 18th, 2020 is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.